And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Starting off with the hazardous weather graphic, we've got a blizzard warning out until midnight here for the western Arctic coast from Point Lay on down to and including Point Hope and Cape Lisburne. And that's due to 40 to 50 mile an hour winds out of the northeast and east, creating whiteout conditions in that area. And again, until midnight tonight. Wind chill advisory out until noon tomorrow for the central and eastern Arctic coast there for wind chills to 55 degrees below zero. Satellite imagery showing a band of clouds shifting up into the North Slope area, but a much more impressive looking system down here in the Gulf of Alaska, and the front extending out of the center there, beginning to push in toward the southeast coast, but mostly up to the North Gulf Coast. Had some light snow today around Yakutat, and not much in the way of any significant precipitation inland areas or even along the North Gulf Coast today down to Kodiak Island. A lot of sunshine over the eastern Aleutians this afternoon with cloudy skies up toward the Pribilofs and a few breaks over the eastern Aleutians. Next system out here with clouds, rain, and snow there pushing in, as you can see, pushing up to the north there for the western Aleutian areas. On the chart today, there's that low center there south-southwest of Adak Island, and then another low back to the west there affecting the Shimiatu area. Weak low here over the northern Bering Sea, producing some snow showers in that area, St. Lawrence Island down toward Nunivak Island. Also in over the southwest part of the state, Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, some areas of light snow, cloudy skies there. Down into Bristol Bay, this low of the Gulf here beginning to spread some moisture northward, again mostly through the day today occurring over the eastern North Gulf Coast there to about Elfin Cove. Well, it's dry over the remainder of the Panhandle, dry with some clearing over the central interior. Narrow band of light snow as we saw in the satellite imagery of that system or that band of clouds pulling northward there. And then not too bad for the Arctic coast except for the gusty northeast winds and the low wind chills there and the whiteout conditions here due to that moisture over the western Arctic coast. And for tonight, that improves again, especially after midnight here, but the winds won't die off completely there for the western Arctic coast. But wind chill advisories, as I mentioned, continue for the east side there, dry and some clearing over the central interior with light winds. And that light wind pattern with dry conditions extends down through the Kuskokwim Valley into Bristol Bay and the Alaska Peninsula. Maybe some clearing for Kodiak Island with a drier northwest wind flow. As this system slowly moves off to the east, the front spreads snow into the southeast coast there, and mostly snow along the North Gulf Coast, heaviest over again toward Yakutat area down toward Elfin Cove. And storminess over the Aleutians here produces a widespread area of precipitation from the Komodorsky Islands all the way eastward here to Unalaska Island, pushing in toward False Pass late tonight. And then for tomorrow, low center here south of the east central Aleutian areas, and the associated front brings rain and snow to the Alaska Peninsula. Gusty north winds, maybe up to 40, 45 miles an hour, in some cases possibly 50 miles an hour for Atka Island here. For Adak and Atka, lighter out to the north, low pressure along the southwest coast. Shaded area here, look for possibility, has the best chance of seeing some light snow or snow showers. Nothing heavy at all expected with this feature, but it extends up across the Seward Peninsula and in toward the Kuskokwim Valley, central interior here to the Susitna Valley. Again, improving conditions, maybe some clearing in the afternoon right on up into the mid-Tanana Valley. Even more clearing there over the Kobuk-Koyukuk Valley areas across the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast. Still some gusty northeast winds, 30 to 40 miles an hour from Point Lay to Cape Lisburne. And this low center here in the Gulf of Alaska starting to weaken, the front right up along the coast there, so periods of snow continues for the Panhandle tomorrow, maybe mixing with rain down along the south coast, and a chance of some light snow working westward into Prince William Sound and the eastern Kenai Peninsula, but amounts will be quite light. And then for the day on Thursday, a stronger system now into the, south of the Gulf of Alaska. That pushes a front with gale force winds and rain and snow here into the southern Panhandle with lighter amounts up to the north. A chance of some Precipitation along the North Gulf Coast, mostly over toward Yakutat, with lesser chances in toward Prince William Sound, just grazing the southern Kenai Peninsula, and some snow shower activity for Kodiak Island. But the Copper River Basin dry, south central Alaska dry with possible clearing here, anywhere over the southern part of the state. Maybe a few flurries over toward Fort Yukon, Chokyitzik, maybe down toward Eagle there, but nothing significant. And then mostly clear skies under high pressure for the Arctic coast and North Slope that'll extend down over the Seward Peninsula. Maybe even St. Lawrence Island. Scattered snow showers here over the eastern Bering Sea and right along the southwest coast, and the Alaska Peninsula as well. And it looks like the next big storm coming into the far western Aleutians there, actually south of the Komodorskis, with the front pushing into the western Aleutians. Some more gale force winds and precipitation with that spreading in toward Adak late in the afternoon. And for the lows tonight, anywhere from 20 to 35 below for the North Slope out to the Arctic coast, and 5 to 10 below or 5 to 15 below over the northeast interior, and 0 to 10 above in the central part of the state, with 20s to the southwest coast, 20s for the Pribilofs, lower 30s in the Aleutians. And for Bristol Bay, right around 20, 15 to 20 in the Kuskokwim Valley, south central Alaska, lows, teens, and 20s. And Copper River Basin, 5 to 10. Southeast coast here, mid-20s in the north to upper 20s, lower 30s down to the south. Highs for tomorrow, upper 30s to near 40 here over the southern Panhandle, extending up toward Port Alexander and Sitka, Mount Edgecombe, those areas, mid-30s. Juneau up to Haines and Yakutat. Upper 30s along the North Gulf Coast, but lower to mid-30s for south central Alaska, upper 30s Kodiak Island, mid to upper 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, lower 30s in the Pribilof, staying below 0 from the Brooks Range on out to the Arctic coast, and 15 to 25 here over the eastern interior areas, and mid to upper 20s out to the west. And then for the lows Thursday morning, again pretty far below 0, could anywhere from 25 to 40 below for the North Slope to the Arctic coast. Either side of 0 here in the central interior, teens to near 20 to the south, with teens down into Bristol Bay, and then 20s for the Alaska Peninsula, lower 30s for the Aleutians, right around just above 0 there for St. Lawrence Island, and 25 to 30 in the northern southeast coast, with milder conditions down to the south. Highs a little farther into the 40s now for portions of the southeast coastal areas here, especially Heidelberg, Craig, Klawock, could see mid-40s, near 40 up to the north. And again, in the 30s, south central Alaska, 20s Copper River Basin, 20s to near 30 for Bristol Bay, and out in the southwest coast in the teens, upper 20s for the Pribilofs, and from the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast, staying below 0, but not too bad here in the Tanana Valley and the central interior areas, teens to lower 20s.